welcome back to once more, ladies and gentlemen. Now we've got our overlay lining up here. We've got a good one coming up for you next. Na'Vi versus Sigma International. Clash of the Titans. This is a top-tier matchup for sure. And looking at their roster, or their standings right now, Na'Vi sitting 11-3, and Sigma are currently 9-2. So both teams obviously in the running for that top 4 position to move into the LAN finals. So a big match. If Sigma can do this, they will be in a really good position, sitting 10-2, and Na'Vi with 4 losses will be right on that cusp and may get stuck in sort of a tie-break scenario. So a very big match coming up here, and we'll see who can do it. With me once again is Hippie! Yay! How you doing, pal?
Doing good, man. And you're right, this is definitely a huge match, not just because of the standings, but just because it's Na'Vi versus Sigma. Na'Vi, of course, much beloved around the world, but Sigma, well known as one of the deadliest best-of-1 teams in the scene right now, just because they can come right out of left field. But Na'Vi already getting their hands on 2 of their favorite heroes in recent times.
They certainly have. First pick, Bristleback. Second pick, Enchantress. They love it. Funnick absolutely loves that Bristleback, and he plays it well. He is one of the better Bristleback players in the scene right now. CM first pick from Sigma, nothing too crazy, and they will second pick the Timbersaw. I love this here. Timbersaw works very well against Bristleback. Of course, pure damage doesn't hurt against that tanky hero, but more importantly, the stat decrease from, or the stat loss from the Whirling Death does chunk down that Bristleback pretty effectively. I think a very smart second pick here for Sigma. Also a hero that they do like to run, so sort of a multifaceted, victorious pick.
Yeah, Miguel plays a pretty solid Timbersaw.
Yep.
I've always been a fan of his play with the hero. And yeah, you're right. I mean, the pure damage is nice, but the stat loss is what's most significant against the Bristleback, because that's just huge chunks of something that Bristleback, the passive, doesn't reduce, which is, it's hard to find things. I think it's just HP removal that doesn't get reduced by that. I'm pretty sure every single other thing in the game will. So it is very, very significant that he can get his hands on that. Although also remember that Timbersaw, because of his mobility, can very easily, when Bristleback is being chased around, get in front of him and thus force him to either tank all the pure damage from Timbersaw or try and turn around and face any other chasing heroes and tank all of their damage while trying to reduce the Timbersaw. Forces Bristleback into some ugly choices if he can position himself well.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And it does appear that Na'Vi has a stand-in here.
No, that's a Vost.
That's a Vost? Are you sure?
That's a Vost. Yeah, I checked.
You checked. Okay.
I
saw them talking in chat.
Vost is listed in his name history, so
okay.
Unless it's a stand-in who also happens to impersonate Havost as a joke on times, it's a Vost.
Okay, all right, that's good to hear. Because I actually wasn't paying attention to lobby chat, but I saw there was a long back and forth, and I was thinking perhaps that maybe I'm just getting trolled. MYM is sort of my focus in Dota 2, so out of my element here, I guess.
MYM hasn't been a Dota organization for
a while. So, yeah, I see people in chat just picking up on it now. Pretty sure it's Havost. I hope it's Havost, because I was just going to say, of all the heroes, I mean, everyone on Na'Vi plays a crucial role, no doubt about it, but Havost is one of the staples of their team. He has been on Na'Vi longer than I think anyone has been on any Dota 2 team. And
yeah, I think he actually is the... Him and maybe Puppy are the longest, have the longest history on Na'Vi and are the most stable players. Although theoretically, I think Na'Vi has been around a little bit longer, obviously, but I think in terms of being there for a percentage of a team, the guys on Fnatic take that one since they've literally never changed.
Yeah. You're right.
Just saying,
you're right.
You
are right. Technically, you are right. They do have a longer standing relationship, perhaps. But anyhow, yeah, Na'Vi right now 11-3. Actually, 2 of their losses were upsets on a day when they had to play 2 matches and they didn't have a Vost. They had a stand-in, and it was almost like watching a different team. I don't remember who beat Na'Vi on those 2 days, but they were heavy upsets, and that's what made me a little nervous here coming into a match this big. If they didn't have a Vost, I would be very nervous, and that would really sway things, in my opinion, in favor of Sigma. But we'll double check that profile when we get in to let everybody draw their own conclusions. But you heard it here. Pretty sure that is indeed Havost.
I am a little curious about the fact that it's interesting to me that Na'Vi values the Bristleback over the Lifestealer when they were handed it, because previously if you gave them the option to take Havost's Lifestealer, first pick every time. And he was left on the board, and they took Bristleback Enchantress instead and let him get banned out in the second phase. So still someone, obviously, that everyone is afraid of coming out of Havost, but not highly valued enough by Puppy anymore to take it over that Funnick Bristleback. And that's just, that's a big shift for me, at least in the way Na'Vi drafts.
Well,
because previously you don't leave Lifestealer on the board, period.
Yeah, they still do run Lifestealer sometimes, but he's just fallen off in popularity so much. That old style is just so 6.78, and they are going to grab the Luna here. I was just going to comment, Na'Vi have been third picking Luna more often than not in the past few days of Starladder that we've gotten to see them. They did second pick it the other day, and they have fourth picked it a time or two, and not surprised to see Luna snagged here. She just works a little bit better for their playstyle. She has a little bit more presence when Lifestealer doesn't, and she doesn't have quite that same issue of being kited around so hard. And against a Timbersaw and a Crystal Maiden, two heroes, I mean, CM does have a slow for when he's not raged, and Timbersaw, of course, very elusive. Nature's Prophet, not so much, but, yeah, I don't know. I guess they're just not feeling the Lifestealer pick here. They've really been liking that Luna, though. They've been picking her a lot over the past week and a half.
Yeah, well, she's a very, very solid hero. I think she's kind of arising as one of the premier carries in this meta. Not many games go by where I don't see Luna every couple of games or so. And, you know, she's very powerful. She has okay early presence thanks to her nuke damage. She is a bit squishy and easy to gank, but the move speed helps her kind of compensate for that a little. Her farming speed is excellent. She gives you great pushing power, and in this meta where there's a lot of early pushing going on, she can be very, very valuable in that respect. And of course, with the Glaives bouncing around in the late game, she's a very, very potent late game carry on top of all that. So she definitely has a lot going for her, and I love that here. I'm always glad to see more Luna.
Yeah, she's very fun and a very hard carry. Now, Sigma will grab Gyrocopter, a very comparable pick to the Luna. They both farm Ancients very well, and last time we saw a Luna versus a Gyrocopter, I think yesterday, they did literally the exact same build. Midas first, into Helm of the Dominator, into BKB, and it was like watching a mirror of these two heroes farming Ancients and making the same jungle rotations on their own sides of the map. So not too surprised to see Gyrocopter here, a hero that Sigma does like quite a bit. Lion, an interesting final ban from Na'Vi, but a support that I think would have worked very well with this Sigma roster.
I mean, it's he's a little bit niche. I mean, he has the burst that they would really need to deal with Luna very, very early, and the Bristleback as well. If they can catch him, like if they can get a stun on him while he's facing forward and they get the Finger of Death off, of course, that's huge.
And Hex is great against Bristleback as well, so not too surprised. We'll see what Sigma want to do with their final ban, and this one is a little bit hard to gauge. I think they may be wise to ban out the TA here. Oh, and there it is. TA going to come out. Dendi has been playing TA a bit more recently, and oh boy, is it scary. Now, OD has made it through the pool, and I think Na'Vi may be tempted with an OD pick here.
I think they could go for an OD, but I think they might like a little more control. Like, I mean, the puck is banned out, though, so there's the Storm Spirit. All right.
This could
be
the
OD themselves a little
here.
bit of disable.
Nope, a Nyx Assassin. All right, I was wrong. Nobody wants OD. So, going to be a Nyx, probably a Nyx mid. So, going to be my... I'm having... No. Okay, Mag going to play him.
No, because it's going to be the Prophet offlane and the Timbersaw mid.
Oh, yeah, what was I thinking? Why was I thinking?
Well, so we were talking about the offlane Timbersaw, we were talking about Miguel on Timbersaw, and it got locked in my brain, too, until I was just actually really thinking about it.
Yeah, my bad. So, yeah, Mad going to be on the Nyx Assassin here. So, of course, it will be a support. So, all right, let's take a look at these rosters here. Good luck, have fun. Oh, yes, that reminds me. Thank you, Havost. I wanted to look at your profile and see if you actually are Havost or just an imposter. And it looks like it's Havost, so fair enough. Seaman Gaming. I wish he was playing under that name. That's a good one.
I did see that.
Oh, Havost, you dog.
He is the number 4 troll in all of Dota.
Oh, he certainly is. He certainly is. So, it is Havost. It is a full roster from Na'Vi. And you have to excuse me, guys. I'm getting a little fatigued here. It's been a long day, the last day of this long grind, so I'm trying to chug in there, and I didn't have a big enough breakfast, and I'm feeling it here. Low blood sugar, trying to nibble in between.
We might have a fight right here. Oh, Puppy's on the downhill. They're going to see it.
Uh-oh. Mad. He is going to throw an Impale. Now, Cassius Clay, whoever you are, probably Sachka, going to poke forward. Isn't going to find the initiation he's looking for, and Sigma will back out. But almost a sticky situation there for Puppy. Okay, so let's introduce our rosters here. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I said that is Sachka. I checked for you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I assumed so. Cassius Clay. Where's Velat? Where's the stickler on these names? Just as I was standing up for him on that front.
The schedule going, man.
Yeah. True enough. True enough. And as we just saw demonstrated right there, I was going to make mention that Gyrocopter is really a good pick against Bristleback. We saw this yesterday, and Cinderin was pointing out how Gyrocopter is one of the heroes best suited to dealing with Bristleback in the laning phase, because he just does so much magic damage straight up, and the Bristleback ability does help, but especially in these early levels, the burst that Gyro can put out, especially with some aggressive supports, really make Bristleback's life very difficult in the early laning phase. And I like the pick here because it's a hero that they like to run, and also a hero that can do a lot of damage. Now, Funnick might actually be in a lot of trouble here. Pos is going to path block him. Look at this. There's the Crystal Nova, and they're not going to be in range to get off that Rocket Barrage. Could have potentially been a kill, but unfortunately, Gyrocopter just not in a forward enough position. Now, Mad going to come in. He may want to throw an Impale here. Yeah, just going to exchange blows for now. Gyrocopter going to continue farming. Funnick being very bold right here, based on the amount of damage that can come out. Anyhow, we'll come back to it. Let's introduce these rosters. We've got Sigma on our Radiant side. Down here in the bottom, it's going to be Sachka, a.k.a. Paris. Here he's Cassius Clay on the Gyrocopter. Mad, a.k.a. the fucking Mad, if that's what you want to call him. I think he's trying to rebrand here a little bit without the profanity. So he is just Mad. Going to be on the Nyx Assassin. Pos going to be playing on the Crystal Maiden. She will be down here in the bottom lane as well. In the mid, it is going to be Fada playing with that silly tag as well, playing the Timber Saw. And up top, it is Miguel. I say Miguel, but everyone else seems to say Miggle. So he will be long lane Nature's Prophet. Would you care to introduce Na'Vi here?
I always enjoy introducing Na'Vi. On the Bristleback, we're going to have Funnick down in that off lane. In the mid lane, Dendi playing Storm Spirit. And up in the top lane, we do have Puppy on the Jungle Enchantress. Kuroki going to be playing our Visage. And our carry Luna, handled by Playmate, a.k.a. Havost.
Full rosters on both sides, and again, can't emphasize enough how important this game is. Na'Vi is tied for first in the round robin right now, and Sigma is tied for third. There are two teams tied up there. So, Miggle going to be in some trouble here. He's going to take an odd path. He is out of mana. We'll take a Lucent Beam to start it off. Kuroki going to have that Grave Chill coming up in just a second here. Will they be able to pursue? I thought this path was kind of crazy from Miguel, but didn't really have anywhere else to go. Luna going to finish him off with a Lucent Beam, and that is a great start for Na'Vi. Of course, who better to grab that bit of bonus gold than the hard-farming Luna? I think safe to say Havost will be grabbing an early Midas here in this match.
I think so. I would vaguely argue that it would be equally good on Dendi, but yeah, that early Midas, if he does choose to go that route, which wouldn't surprise me at all, it's going to be very, very fast, like 4.5, 5 minutes. That's going to make for a very, very hard-farming Luna. Sigma will need to put some pressure on that if that does come out.
Yes, they certainly will. And the question is will Gyrocopter grab himself a Midas? He did finish up that Basilius, grabbed himself a set of boots here to start things off. So not the fastest Midas possible, but is going to go more of a utility build. Looks like they could be gearing up to try and pressure that tower. Compliments of the Basilius. How's Havost doing? They're going to do the exact same build. Has boots of speed now and going to complete his Basilius also. So what did I say? Luna and Gyrocopter very comparable with those item choices, and we may see them actually mirror each other in this match as we saw yesterday.
I mean, well, if you look at their skill sets, they have kind of similar kits. You know, they have an attack that hits multiple targets. They have a big AoE magic damage ultimate. They have a decent nuke. I just argue that Luna, of course, has the Lunar Blessing, which is probably better than the missile. The stun can be useful situationally, but it's so unreliable, whereas the Lunar Blessing, having all that bonus damage, is very, very nice.
Yep, absolutely. So in the mid, I want to talk about this matchup a bit. Dendi on the Storm Spirit facing off against Fada on the Timber Saw. Again, that is Fada, their traditional mid player. Their notorious puck player, as it may be. And they're pretty comparable here on farm, though. Fada going to have some incoming doom, perhaps. There is a Centaur and a Satyr chasing him down. There's the Electric Vortex. Should be an easy War Stomp. He does not have a point in Timber Chain. This could be bad for Fada. No, but Mag going to be here just a little bit too tanky. Funnick now going to come in. Wand charges, not going to be enough. Enchantress going to finish off the Timber Saw. Pos going to come in, won't be able to finish off that Bristleback either. So a nice gank from Puppy. We'll secure the kill. It's not over quite yet, though. Dendi going to continue to pursue. They have the Centaur for another War Stomp. Nice Impale from Mad. Won't be enough to keep Pos alive, though. And now Mad needs to be a little bit careful. We'll see Sachka roam his way over, but Mad is very low. Oh, man, what are Sigma doing? Oh, Na'Vi now with a huge lead, picking up 3 easy kills in the mid. And up top, Luna is just chipping away at this tower, has it down below half, and the glyph has already been burned. So just a unbelievable swing of momentum to an otherwise even game here before the 5-minute mark.
That was so weird, because each time, I mean, except for the time when they tried to go in on Funnick, who was reasonably low, no hero from Na'Vi was really within kill range, and, you know, Mad kept going in to try and land stuns, save people, but sometimes you just have to cut your losses and get out, and being unwilling to do that cost them, instead of the 1 kill they would have dropped from the Timbersaw who went down, dropping 3 instead, and giving Dendy a very, very quick 6. He's now level 7.
Wow. And that is quite the disparity. Timbersaw, again, it was a very even lane. That's what I was commenting on before that fight started. And Timbersaw not even level 6 yet. And Dendy, one of those heroes, when he picks up this momentum, seldom does he let it go. Mad is going to rotate in. Miggle going to port as well. And now Dendy in some trouble. He's completely out of mana. So, just as I say that, they will set up a valuable kill on that Storm Spirit and get a little bit of recovery for the Timbersaw. So, a much-needed gank. And we'll get a kill on the board here for Sigma.
Yeah, I mean, obviously good. You want to slow down that Storm Spirit, make sure he doesn't spiral too far out of control, and get your Timbersaw a little bit more space to work with. They almost could have gotten the courier right there. Miguel ported in right behind it. But Puppy Hockey little rune control with his Dark Troll Summoner. He actually killed off the DD rune that was there a second ago and then was guarding against that Nyx assassin, basically forcing Sigma to sit the Nyx up there or risk just not getting the rune in the hands of their Timbersaw. And, you know, it didn't spawn there anyway, so it's going to be bottom. But distracting the Nyx a little bit, preventing him from doing something a little more useful than just sitting there and camping that rune when the enemy mid is already dead.
Yeah.
On Phonic now coming mid.
Yep. Some more rotation happening. Now, of course, when Miggle ported mid, that did open up more room for Luna, and it looks like Havost will commit to a Hand of Midas. Actually, is Havost going to be in some trouble here? Furion trying to get the path block. 1 or 2 more auto attacks would have done it, but Havost will be able to make it back out, and will use the salve to get back up to an acceptable level of HPs. He does have that set of Gloves of Haste, and just about 100 off the recipe. Cassius Clay down here, though. Sachka, unfortunately, well, maybe fortunately, I guess I shouldn't say unfortunately here, did go Phase Boots first, so not going to be going Hand of Midas, it doesn't look like. And that could cost him. Na'Vi already have a pretty sizable lead for only 7 minutes in, and it's just going to get worse as Havost continues to farm, and they've given him so much room. I mean, just already, Gyrocopter not able to keep up with the Luna before the Midas comes out. Once that Midas comes into play, I mean, Gyrocopter just going to get out-farmed here. So that's going to put a lot of pressure on Sigma to make some plays happen. Miggle looks like he's going to be grabbing a Hand of Midas on the Nature's Prophet. But onus is going to be on them to make these plays happen, because in a static free-farm environment, I think Na'Vi will get the better of them in the late game.
I think in the late game, yeah, I think Sigma can actually spike farm a little bit better than Na'Vi can, in terms of like getting a good power spike up on the Gyrocopter, just because in the earlier game, Flat Cannon is going to be a lot better than Glaives for clearing out the Ancients. So if they got like a quick set of hard stacks or Ancient stacks or something that they cleared, they could basically, you know, just flash farm with the Gyrocopter, give themselves a nice little spike, and then engage right off of that if they can use that to finish an item or something. That could be, you know, maybe the makings of a timing push of some sort. But of course, the longer the game stays steady, you're absolutely correct that Luna is going to slowly pull ahead. And of course, in the late game, those Glaives, man, they're going to ruin everyone. Oh, yeah. Luna might be in trouble, though.
Up top, Luna taking a lot of damage. Frostbite can be enough to keep her in place, and Luna does fall. They do get a kill on the Nature's Prophet, and Paz not going to get off scot-free. The impetus from Puppy proving successful here, and will be enough damage. Dendy going to burn that whole mana pool to hop forward onto Mad. Nice spike carapace comes out. He is going to sip the bottle. Now Mad's still going to be pursued, and he will fall. So although they get a valuable kill on the Luna, still going to be a good exchange for Na'Vi, a 1 for 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was worth it at all.
Definitely not.
I mean, slowing down the Luna, awesome. But unless, I mean, maybe if they'd been able to take enough pressure that Sashka could get a lot of damage on the tower, it would have been a little better off for them. But just without that tower to fall back to right there, you have to be very, very concerned about poking up close to where Puppy can come out of the jungle on you. And I think that's what it basically was. They were there, but it took them a little bit to kill off the Luna. The Visage was already there. Puppy was, of course, nearby, and Dendy just able to TP in since their top tower is obviously still up. Zip right in. He has that mobility on the Storm Spirit. It's so hard to get away from Na'Vi's lineup once they're on top of you, man. Between Storm Spirit, between Bristleback, between Visage, between just the move speed of Luna and the slow on the Enchantress. Every single one of them has a good way to chase you down.
Mm-hmm. They really do. And with that, Sigma will smoke up here from the mid lane. Mad, Paz, and Fada all going to rotate over that top rune into the dire jungle, looking for an opportunity. Down bottom, Sachka, one more Quill. Funnick is going to make it a 1 for 1. Miggle ports in. I don't even know if he got experience for that. I think he poured it in just a little too late. So a 1-for-1. Big exchange in favor of Na'Vi, though. The underfarmed Funnick on that Bristleback going to get some solo XP. And, oh god, Luna just going to get dropped up top. That smoke will prove successful. But still, I think Na'Vi will be happy to trade that 1-for-1 down in the bottom Bristleback for the Gyrocopter.
Well, and especially not just because it was the trade, but because Bristleback got the kill first, so he picks us with a reliable goal. So he gets, you know, that little bit of bonus he's not about to drop when he dies, and he gets the experience off of it. And Bristleback getting a little bit of extra experience, slowing down that Gyrocopter, never, ever, ever a bad thing. I mean, basically, trading 1-for-1, if you're trading somewhat even positions, is largely based on who gets the kill first.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's definitely true. And with that, did Funnick grab anything else? No, he's still working towards his Vanguard, it looks like. Does have the Ring of Health, Stout Shield, Bottle, Magic Wand, some regular old boots. And he does like to go Vanguard first. I have a feeling he's going to save up that gold and just grab the Vitality booster once farm allows. Dendi now going to be up in the top lane. Will hold it while Luna was down. Puppy does have a Centaur. It looks like he may want to rotate top. Sigma need to be a little bit careful here. They're only 3. They are going to try to engage on Dendi. They might have the CC. Nope. Dendi going to be able to survive, and now they're in kind of an awkward position. Luna going to use that Lucent Beam. Pos definitely going to fall here. Mad going to try to pour it out, as will Fada, and they're both going to make it. So it is going to cost them their Crystal Maiden. And, of course, Na'Vi do keep this tower safe and sound.
Yeah, I mean, not just the Crystal Maiden, but, you know, costing him 2 TPs is not negligible at this phase of the game. 135 gold on a support can be put into a set of wards, practically.
Yep.
Whereas, you know, now instead you have to get another TP because if you don't have the map mobility, you're not really that useful as a support most of the time if you can't get where you needed to be.
And in the mid, Navi's tier 1 starting to take some pressure. Compliments of that Nature's Prophet. They will burn the glyph, and Nature's Prophet will just back off. They are giving a lot of room to Funnick here, though. Gyrocopter has started to move around a little bit, and now Funnick picking up a bit of free farm, and that means he's going to have his Vanguard here. One more creep ought to do it. And there it is, that one last creep. He'll just walk over to the secret shop here and grab that first core item. And this is that time when Funnick feels more comfortable moving about. Once he grabs that Vanguard, 12 minutes is pretty well timed, considering he was long lane against a tri-lane. And now he can move around and actually be a bit more active in these fights and start doing what Bristleback does best. Turn that back, close your eyes, and pray for quills. Maybe not.
Well, it's not really prayer.
It's,
you know,
it's not really prayer.
It's not random.
It's a certainty. That's a fair point.
Set. But at the same time, I mean, you're completely right. This is exactly what Funnick does every single time. He gets his little bit of early farm, and then he runs around just putting so much pressure on that everybody kind of loses focus on what they could be doing, and more focuses on, oh god, how are we not going to get killed by this Bristleback? And he, nice turn of his back right there. That can't have been intentional, but he turned at just the right time to not get caught by that Vendetta damage.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's got 3 points in the Bristleback passive, so 32%, man. Pretty significant reduction going on top of the Vanguard, on top of his 5 armor. And it's interesting to me, though, that he's going to sit here and farm for a little bit, because, you know, Funnick is usually taking off pressure, and, ooh, Mad.
Smoke from Na'Vi is going to result in a free kill onto that Nyx Assassin. Visage does deny the tier 1 in the mid lane, so that will be the first tower down for Na'Vi. But, of course, the deny going to help thwart some of the gain from Sigma. Luna has now picked up that Helm of the Dominator, so may want to start stacking these Ancients. Of course, it is blocked right now by this Radiant Ward. I think a very well-placed ward by Sigma. Very smart, as that is definitely something Na'Vi will want to utilize at a pretty early juncture, I think. Na'Vi may want to go for a relatively early Roche as well. Having the Bristleback to stack up that Nasal Goo, as well as the Enchantress with the creeps, does make for a semi-easy Roche time. But before that, the mid... Dendi is invisible. He's in a position between the tier 1 and the tier 2, maybe looking for a solo kill. If someone comes up to the high ground, he might be able to grab it. Miggle gonna play right into Dendi's hand. Dendi gonna reveal, and he is gonna go for it. But just gonna back out. Dendi doing what Dendi does best, distracting the team, making an opening. And
honestly, though, this is way better for Sigma as long as nobody dies.
As long as nobody dies.
Forever.
And this may be the result of their stalemate here. Puppy in a little bit of trouble, does have the Nature's Attendants out, so he still may be able to survive. And over here we see Dendi zipping around. He's going to be able to pour it out. And Havost, he's going to be able to pour it out. That Timber Chain does not interrupt. And unfortunately, Luna is not a tree, so not going to connect either. And Luna will pour it out, and Puppy does survive. Those little wisp friends he has, going to be his saving grace there.
Yeah, and Dendi was just sitting there for so long. He not only took the entire invis room, but that was like a good minute where he could have been farming, getting a little bit of extra experience, just sitting there behind the tier 1 in mid. on that ramp, looking for someone to kill and never actually getting them. But
no.
Sachka going in a little bit too
Why
far.
was he up that far? Wow.
I don't know, man. They don't have any ward coverage. They have no idea. They know Dendy was just right there. That was just...
Yeah, I mean, if you look at their wards, they do have a little bit. Of course, the one that I pointed out in the Ancients, as we see this stack, is going to fail. They've got one right outside the Roche pit. They've got nothing into the dire jungle, and with no vision of anyone on the map, you got to assume that the Enchantress might be actually just farming away in the jungle, and support could be nearby. That was just a very... I don't know the right word for it. Just a silly mistake. That's really all it was. And that really could cost Sigma a bit here. Look at that net worth chart. A huge gap between the hard farmers. Sachka sitting at only 4.5k. And Hvost is just about to break that 7k barrier. They were dead even at the beginning. And, well, obviously, Luna really pulling ahead here.
Well, I mean, part of that is that Hvost is getting a little bit... I mean, actually... Yeah, 2-2-3 as opposed to 1-2. He's getting a little bit better on the KDA. But... You know, another part is just the Midas and the fact that Sachka isn't really taking advantage of the flat cannon to speed up his farm at all at the moment. And so, you know, you can clear jungle just camps and stacks really, really quickly between flat cannon and rocket barrage in between your farm in the lane. So I think he could probably be getting a little bit more out of the map than he is right now. And since he chose not to go for the Midas, he has to know that he either needs to be really maximizing his efficiency in terms of the amount of creeps he's picking up, or he needs to be putting on a little bit more pressure in this bottom lane. And it looks like he's going to try and go for this tower finally, but just, it's been, I feel a little bit lackluster, the farming play on this gyrocopter so far.
And they've made no effort to stack these Ancients either. Still Thunder Lizards, I don't think they've cleared it yet, and that's, as we mentioned in the picking phase, one thing that Gyrocopter does very, very well is clear Ancient stacks. In the mid, we're going to see some initiation, though. Dendy actually going to take a lot of damage. He's going to be forced to turn. The call down will connect with him. It will be a Timbersaw for Storm Spirit. Timbersaw actually going to buy back straight away here. Paz going to use the ultimate. Funnick going to stand his ground for now, and it's going to cost him. He'll fall. That's going to be a 2 for 2 as Nature's Prophet gets taken out. Enchantress going to get killed, as will Kuroki, I think. Nowhere for him to go. So a big overcommit from Na'Vi there. They just hopped in willy-nilly. Mad did catch a couple of really nice impales, but it is going to be a 2 for 4, though. And I guess that buyback from Timbersaw, well worth it, as he did get back into the fight and made some of those kills happen.
Yeah, and they also got the bottom tower with the remainder of the creeps as well as the Furion trees that were still down there. Even after Sachka put it away, landed a very, very nice Gyrocopter ultimate. I think he caught 3 with that. It was at least 2 or 3. Put out a lot of good damage, slowed people down, and really helped them finish off Funnick before he was able to kill people. And a long channeled freezing field coming out from Paz during that fight. You can see Funnick, with no way to interrupt it, was desperately trying to kill him off and get rid of it because he knew he couldn't get out of it because of the slow. He knew he would probably die if he just turned his back. He was too low to just kind of tank through it because it does so much damage.
Right. And
he just couldn't quite manage to finish him off. Paz really playing the margins on that one. He got very, very low, but well done. Well done, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's a large part of Dota, is playing the margins and knowing when you can get in and get out with 10 HP. You know who's really good at that is Eternal Envy. He plays the margins like nobody's business. He does the math.
He does the math. He doesn't just think about the math. He actually does it. You're right, though. That is something that Eternal Envy does. I can't wait for Speed to get back here into the East so we can see them.
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be
love
exciting.
Speed.
Man, I guess we can see him on stream, but it's not part of my schedule.
Dendy!
Dendy gonna hop forward here, and he is gonna get stunned. Dendy needs to be a little bit careful. Kuroki will use that mech, and well, Dendy playing with fire right there as he hops forward. Will survive, but certainly a close call. Puppy now gonna be very far forward. Very awkward positioning. Luna will use an Eclipse. No, pardon me, not gonna use an Eclipse. Just gonna throw out a Lucent Beam. Does do a fair bit. There's the Eclipse.
She does.
And
what was that?
And
now Miguel comes in. Hvost is done.
Hvost is definitely done. Put a fork in him. What? I'm not really sure what his plan was right there. I mean, even if some of those beams connected, he would have had to commit really hard to get those kills.
Yeah, I mean, I think his idea was that he thought someone was kind of just at the edge of his range, so he wanted to try and just get all 4 beams onto them and then get a 5th beam off of his spell. But he didn't realize that they were just kind of out of range. The cast time on the Eclipse hurt him a little bit there. Puppy, what is that TP, man? That is a dangerous TP. Now, it looks like he's going to be okay, but that was...
survive. Crystal Maiden's going to fall. Now Dendy going to hop in. They might be able to grab this kill on the Gyrocopter. They do. They get a little bit of cleanup here. Timbersaw going to try and pour it out. No Vortex, not going to have the interrupt. Maybe they can grab Mad as Dendy hops forward.
Dire's middle tower is
Doesn't
under
have that
attack.
vortex up quite yet, but still Mad is going to be destined to fall. So Na'Vi will get a recovery here. They certainly are still in this game, and they have a decent lead, but not like Puppy's positioning in that fight before, just like poking his head up to the high ground, just like, hey guys, oh jeez, that's not where I wanted to be. It's sort of just like Na'Vi being almost hyper-aggressive here. I mean, Dendi as well, he hasn't died as many times, but he has definitely hopped into some very sticky situations, and I don't know. I don't know. Na'Vi don't have to be that aggressive. I still think they have the farming advantage, especially with the Midas on that Luna. We were looking at net worth about how far ahead Luna is compared to the Gyrocopter. Still ahead by a solid 2K margin, but...
Well, they'll have the farming advantage, but if it does go ultra late, I think they'll get split pushed to death by the Furion.
True that.
That's what they have to worry about. Of course, they do have the Storm, who can mitigate that to an extent because he's very good at getting in on the Furion before he's able to teleport away. But... If he gets to the point where the Furion is really, really farmed, he has a BKB, so he's safe from the Storm, he can just kind of be wherever he wants to, kill towers, and then Navi's like, well, crap, what do we do now?
Yep. So, Grass, whoa, Funnick gonna get engaged on down here, Timbersaw gonna hop in, Whirling Death gonna connect, Funnick, I think, gonna be in trouble. Down he goes. That was a 5-man gang, so not much the lone Bristleback could do. But still, a nice kill going the way of Sigma. Sigma with a response here. This is an interesting graph, how the team fights have gone back and forth. Sigma showing us that they certainly have a sign of life, and Na'Vi are not out of the clear yet. Definitely still anyone's game for the tanking, but Luna going to start clearing this triple stack here of Ancients, and Luna also does have a BKB. So that is some item progression there on the front of Na'Vi. Dendi actually going to grab his BKB now as well. Gyrocopter also with a BKB, and Miggle going to grab that level 1 Necro Book. So those core items are coming out. And now that BKBs are on the field, that is good news for Na'Vi. I think Storm with his BKB now will allow Dendi to be a bit more be as aggressive as he appears to want to be here, and maybe get away with it a bit easier. But when you go BKB first on Storm, that does limit your aggressive potential, as your mana pool not that great.
And here we go, the Untouchable making this Roshan very, very easy, and no vision, not even any game sense coming out from Sigma. You'd think maybe they kind of figure, oh, well, they could definitely get this done. They have the Luna Aura, they have the Untouchable, let's go check Roshan. There, the pings, just as he died, started to come out from Miguel. You could see that.
Yeah. Not a lot of suspicion there, and you're exactly, especially at this moment, I would have thought Na'Vi could have an opportunity to do it a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah, they could have done it like 5 minutes ago.
Should have been suspicious.
So now it should have been in Sigma's minds, you know?
Yeah. So, alright, gonna resume here. MYM Playmate. Vlad poking some fun there. I approve.
Vlad does what he wants, man.
You don't know Vlad, he do what he want.
Can we not? Let's not. You remember the morning show early today? Can you not do that?
Voices are too much. Oh boy. So Puppy, slowly but surely, I imagine he's working towards his Ags, but yeah, it's got to be an Ags. He's got the Ogre Club. I suppose toying with me a little bit. Could be a BKB. That would be so weird. BKB first on Enchantress is not something that happens. Funnick working towards the Heart. He's got a Reaver already. So Funnick's farm has been steadily increasing here in this game, and Pos actually pretty close to a BKB as well. Wow, this Crystal Maiden is actually farming pretty well. She is number 9 on the net worth chart, but gonna go BKB first item. That may be a little scary for Na'Vi. Pos has already had a couple of nice freezing fields, and once he gets that BKB, they'll be all the more scary.
Yes, but also, I mean, BKB without a whole lot of armor, I guess he'll have 7 armor, so it won't be that bad. But he will still be able to be focused down pretty easily by the Bristleback and by the Luna, especially while the Luna's BKB is running, and she can get through the freezing field just fine. And of course, Funnick will have plenty of HP to tank through it a little bit. Not to say freezing field is negligible, but Funnick is pretty darn tanky right now. So I think they can take her out, but it does mean that their carries, either their carries are focusing on a Crystal Maiden, or they're letting a freezing field get full channeled, and neither of those are desirable options in a team fight.
Right. And the only issue with going BKB first is you don't have that positioning tool, which can make it a little bit harder to execute for the Crystal Maiden. If you're not right on top of someone, often it's easier just to walk out of the radius, and you'll be A-okay. But you're absolutely right. Still gives her that power to either zone everyone out or force Na'Vi to focus a support while their carries lay into him. So still a solid pickup, no doubt. And Nature's Prophet continuing to level up that Necronomicon. Can't say I'm surprised about that. Now up to level 2, and actually going to have level 3 before too long here, as he does have about 1,000 gold in the bank. Na'Vi with the Aegis, or Aegis though, they are going to group up and start chipping away at these towers, it looks like. Tier 2 in the mid, going to be their target of choice. There is a Yasha in the bank for Luna, so probably going to be that Manta style. Pretty common Luna item. I don't know if this trade's going to be good for Na'Vi, though. The split push from Sigma that you were mentioning going to come into play here. Bottom tier 2 going to take some heavy pressure. Top tier 2 going to take some heavy pressure as Na'Vi do burn the glyph. They finish off the tier 2 in mid and might be able to make it back to port, so perhaps this exchange, or port back to defend. Looks like this exchange could actually go their way. Yeah, there's a port up top. So they will fend it off, but front and center here, we see that split pushing power of Sigma, and that is going to be a concern for Na'Vi as this game continues to go on.
And like I mentioned, they really, really do have to worry about that as things start to get more farmed. The Gyro can clear things very, very quickly. The Furion obviously is a very, very good split pusher. It's just, they don't have a great answer to that. Pos getting picked off right before he gets this BKB. Oh, he's not going to go down!
Dendy going to burn the BKB charge. He wants the kill. And he is going to make it out. So I guess worth that BKB charge to secure the kill. Nature's Prophet going to pour it in, but not going to be enough. Sprout pretty useless against Storm Spirit. Anyhow, Dendy does have a regeneration rune, so he'll be able to zip all around the map. And he's going to hop forward here. Instant BKB usage on the gyrocopter. That is a 10-second BKB down just from Dendy feigning some aggression. Very nicely done by the Storm Spirit. I like that.
I'm not sure it was a fade. I think he would have gone in if that BKB hadn't gone.
Yeah.
But in general, you know, it's better to burn the BKB charge than save your carry. Or then lose your carry, excuse me.
Yes.
That made no sense.
It is true, though. I mean, you're better safe than sorry. It's sort of silly to take a trip back to the well because you wanted to save your 10-second BKB. That's kind of what it's there for, to keep you alive. So a good use of the BKB, but still Dendy does force it for basically nothing. It costs him a little bit of mana with a regeneration rune on, and he burns that 10-second BKB. So still a victory. And this top tier 2 is going to fall. Puppy not going to connect with the deny. Kind of difficult with those Necronomicon units, but we see Puppy has enchanted one of them. And Miggle going to be in some trouble. They found him in the trees, and one impetus will be enough to finish him off. So he does get the tower, but it will cost him his life.
And you can't make trees and expect to get away from birds. They'll just go right over those things.
Yeah.
I mean, and mentioning that that Puppy on the Enchantress is able to take those Necronomicon units is, in fact, a pretty darn big deal. People, I think... I mean, one of the reasons we saw Necronomicon immediately jump in popularity in 7-9 is Havos is getting annihilated in this bottom lane right here. I'm not sure he's going to get away. There goes that Aegis. Is he going to die? Are they going to go in on him? They are going to burn the Gyrocopter ultimate. He's going to pop his BKB. He's going to... What's he... Oh, he's just channeling his TP. Okay. I couldn't actually see it through the other particles. I'm like, she's doing something. Oh, she's TPing. Okay.
I thought he casted the Eclipse at first. It sort of looked similar.
Yeah, it looked like... Well, it's the same cast animation. It's just the TP one is longer.
Yeah. So, up top here, Dendy going to catch the Timbersaw. He tried to pour it out, but he's not going to make it. And he will fall. So Na'Vi going to continue to find picks about the map, and they are getting the better of the farm. This graph is favoring Na'Vi as we are moving into more of a static kind of farm fest style game. About 10,000 gold, 12,000 experience, something close to that. And down in the bottom, Matt and Miggle could be in a little bit of trouble, perhaps. Havos still has that ultimate, I believe. Yes, he does. Now has a Manta as well. Plenty of creeps around, but still, at level 16, that Eclipse is still pretty scary, even if there are a handful of creeps nearby.
Yeah, 10 Lucent Beams is pretty significant. But just finishing my thought from before that little set of ganks broke out, we saw Necro jump in popularity because the counter items to it no longer countered it. It's still a dangerous pickup against an Enchantress just because of the fact that she steals half the power of your 5,000 gold item.
Yes.
Like that's a pretty huge thing to consider.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. We talked about that on the morning show right after those nerfs about how Necronomicon itself wasn't really buffed. It's just they got rid of a lot of the things that used to counter it, like Hand of Midas, and was it Devour? There were a few others.
Helm of the Dominator.
Helm of the Dominator, that was the big one. Those two alone really changed how people use Necro books. So, yeah, definitely a good thing to point out. Oh, we see that Courier in the mid was scouted, circled by the Timbersaw. Fortunately, nobody nearby to finish it off.
Crowing at 30 minutes. They're bottle crowing at 30 minutes. Oh, Dendy. You're so silly.
Why not? Dendy is getting close to that Orchid. He is actually going to smoke up with Puppy here. And they will rotate down into the Radiant jungle. Don't know that they're going to find anyone. Perhaps they could grab this Nature's Prophet who is in the lane. Going to send out those Necronomicon units. And they will walk by. What?
Not that the Necro units could see them anyway. Smoke
Yeah.
is unrevealable, remember?
Yeah. I sort of thought that after I said
Sachka.
it. But, they're gonna bump into Sachka, so not too bad for him here. They're gonna grab a kill. Sachka not even gonna burn the BKB, recognizing he was gonna fall anyhow. So Na'Vi will still get the best of it. And up top, Funnick just pounded into this tier 2 tower. Bada trying to contest as best he can, but now that goo going to start to stack up. Support going to come in. Familiars going to grab a stun here perhaps. No, Kuroki not going to get the stun off. Mech going to be used. In comes Pos. There's that BKB freezing field. Funnick trying to decide what he wants to do. He's just going to turn. He's going to start swinging that flail. He's going to be able to make it happen. Visage not going to be so lucky, though Bristleback is going to fall. A 2 for 2. Well, a 2 for 1 up here, and they did pick off the gyro, so a 2 for 2 across the map. And Na'Vi still just slow sieging. Yeah, Dendi going to finish that Orchid following the kill. That is actually huge right here. As we mentioned, he did go BKB first, so now finally going to have a true aggressive item. We're going to see this Storm Spirit start to do pretty significant damage.
Well, not just on that, but it'll be very, very useful against the Timbersaw. It's not like he's going to be getting a BKB, and oh, fucking bad. It looks like he's going to go down. That's a gem that they just grabbed. I think that's a really fresh gem, too. I don't recall them having that for a particularly long amount of time. So that's like a 1,700 gold swing right there.
Puppy and Havos going to be down here. Miggle going to port in, and Havos does BKB port out. Doesn't have the mana to use the Eclipse. Puppy going to be left alone. He will just Nature's Attendance and try to walk away, but this is going to be rough for Puppy. Looks like they may try and reinitiate. Dendi coming around the backside. This tier 2 tower has fallen, so Dendi does have free roam right here. He's going to poke forward, perhaps. Once the Timbersaw, Sachka hiding in the trees. I don't know if they know he's there. The Orchid going to prove successful as Timbersaw falls, and I don't think they saw him walk in. This is a sneaky play from Sachka.
20 seconds, yeah.
Wow.
So they better hope that he doesn't figure him out. But yeah, they're just going to back off.
He'll survive.
Very, very nice. They may have, even if they saw him walk in, they may at this point just have assumed that he's TP'd out and that he was just hiding there for a TP out.
Yeah, probably. So Na'Vi's still going to find favorable trades. Like, the problem here is it seems like Sigma is holding pretty well. 13 to 23. Doesn't feel that bad.
Graphs,
but looking at the graphs, exactly where I was going to go. I mean, Na'Vi, it's just been a non-stop increase for Na'Vi. They're finding better farm. They have better map control. And we see them in the Radiant Jungle right now, stealing that farm that Sigma really desperately need. And
they're about to get a second Roche, too.
Yeah, and Roche is now respawned. Let's take a look at ward coverage for our Radiant side. They've got nothing. They have absolutely no idea. And with Timbersaw dead for another 10 seconds, I don't think they're going to be able to contest this, even if they were wise to it.
What did Avos just sell? He just sold something for 1,000 gold. So did he? I mean, based on the number I saw, did he have a Yasha before now? Oh no, he sold his Midas. He sold his Midas. I'm dumb. That's what the 1025
Oh yeah,
was.
well he did have a Yasha and it turned into a Manta, but yeah, you're right. He did sell the Midas. It caught me off guard for a second there. When you said Yasha, I was like, but there is no Yasha in the inventory. Oh right, Manta
yeah,
style.
I was just like, well, because you know, I saw 1025. I'm like 2050. That's what a Yasha costs. But then I forgot that, oh, Midas costs 2050 now, too.
Yeah. So Havost is going to be able to finish up his Butterfly, which is great news, except Sachka is already kind of a step ahead. Anticipating a Butterfly is imminent, is going to go MKB right after that Black King bar, and he does have most of the core pieces, a Demon Edge, and already one of those Javelins with 800 in the bank. So he's going to have an MKB for in a pretty good time frame here, and that means Luna's evasion advantage is going to be mitigated pretty quickly.
One of the nice things about Gyrocopter is just that his natural item path takes him through an MKB, so evasion is inherently less good against him.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what better standard damage item do you have for Gyrocopter than an MKB? There's pretty much nothing, just because of the way he works.
Yeah. Sometimes we see that similar build, a Butterfly first if you want the evasion yourself, but
yeah, that can happen.
Yeah, that can happen. Yes, it sure can.
Oh, yeah.
But you're right. MKB is nothing off the wall. I mean, that's something that sort of Sachka kind of wanted anyhow, I guess. But, oh, no. Luna, he's going to be in an odd position here. Going to burn the Eclipse as Dendi comes in. BKBs come out of plenty. Nyx Assassin, the first to fall. Luna going to stand his ground for now. Dendi goes down, and he did have the Aegis, so he'll pop right back up. But it's a 2-for-1, not the fight that Na'Vi wanted. Havos in a very strange position so far forward without support nearby.
I don't know, man. I mean, it was very iffy. There's been iffy positioning on both sides, but at the same time, look at Avost's net worth. Like, look at the net worth chart.
Oh, yeah.
And just how incredibly far ahead of everyone he is at this point.
He's stacked, man.
He is very, very farmed.
Yeah, so I guess feeling a bit confident there. Still, Na'Vi going to have an okay exchange because they had the Aegis. Again, maybe that was part of it. But, oh, look at that burst initiation onto the Gyrocopter. Cassius Clay going to go back to the well. Now Miggle going to be in some trouble. And I think he is destined to fall. Down he goes. Timbersaw going to try and Timber Chain back, but the stun getting interrupted.
Really
now
nice
he's going to fall.
drop.
And all of a sudden, Na'Vi just going to be able to clear this tier 3 and take out the barracks. Forget about Havost. He's dead, but they obviously don't need him here. They'll take out this tier 3. No glyph available. And I think this is going to be Rax. Let's double check the buyback status here. Nothing for Gyro. Timber does have it, but obviously not too worried about burning it here. Nature's Prophet has his as well. Kind of surprised to see them not burning their buybacks to save the Rax, because if they don't, melee down, range will fall.
I don't know. I'm not sure they could save the Rax. I don't think they have the damage without the Gyro to bring down some of these heroes, especially Phonic.
Yeah, perhaps that's true. Just wait, yeah, recognizing without the Gyro, they don't have the damage anyhow, but yeah.
I get what you're saying. I mean, you never want to give up free Rax, but at the same time, you don't want to burn buybacks and then not save the Rax.
And then not save the Rax and just die anyway. That's even worse. I definitely see where you're coming from. But
it's conservative play is what they're doing right now.
I mean, Nature's Prophet does have that Necro Book 3. Even those minions alone, even though Puppy can take one, they still help in kind of a hold. An aggressive outward engage here. Puppy taking a lot of damage, will survive. Compliments of the mech and the Nature's Attendant. Sachka taking a lot of damage here. He will survive. Both sides yet to concede a death. And all that thought is Nyx Assassin gets nuked down by... And now, Na'Vi in kind of an awkward position. They're lower health, low on mana. Phonic is going to be forced to back up here. That homing missile is going to stun him. Not going to do too much, though. And Na'Vi will clear out the Rax, and I think this is going to be their exodus here. No reason to continue hanging around, especially since Havost is just, well, he's farming away up top, doing what Havost does best. And Na'Vi actually lost their courier as well. I don't know when that happened, but I see their courier on cooldown here.
Nothing on it, though, so it must have died on the way back from something.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing too crazy. But
actually, I can.
Look at Phonic.
It died in the mid lane on their side of the mid lane, just off the ramp. I have no idea how, but that's where
a weird spot. Yeah,
Very weird spot.
Totally missed it. See, but yeah, Phonic is scary now. He's got that Heart at Tarask. He has an SNY and a Vanguard, so he is just a machine at the moment. And of course, we talked about Havost's amazing farm, and oh, more initiation. Pa's going to get dropped like he's hot as Dendy comes forward with a double damage rune. Does make for an easy kill. Now this gold graph, just out of control. 25,000 gold, even worse with the experience graph, about 35k or so. That is more than sizable lead, and we see that on the hero level chart. It's a lot of red floating towards the top. And... yeah, those supports without the level 3 ultis is starting to hurt. We will see what could be the last push here. Na'Vi going to press in. Mad going to initiate. A nice line stun going to come out. We'll catch a couple of them. But Phonic going to be in the front lines. And this is just going to be a massacre. They don't have the farm to tango with the likes of Na'Vi here. A buyback comes from the Nature's Prophet, but that was just such an easy execution. Na'Vi still have a lot of resources at their disposal. Glyph is down. Top lane of Rax going to be obliterated. I think Sigma going to be forced to tap out pretty soon here, Hippie.
Absolutely. You know, I got to give you so much credit. You said, start of the game, all right. So, I mean, the problem for Sigma is that if they play passive and Na'Vi just kind of stands, they're going to get so overfarmed that Sigma won't be able to do anything about it. And what happened? They played passive. They didn't take advantage of their early aggressive items. And Na'Vi got really big gold advantage that they couldn't actually do anything about.
Yeah, I mean, Phonic diving the well right here to try and finish off this Timbersaw. Timber is going to survive, as will Phonic, but, well, I spoke too soon. Timber does go down. He buys back instantly. Wants to get back into the mix. They're just trying to buy some time here. Nature's Prophet is pressuring that bottom tier 3, but it seems that Na'Vi don't care too much. Instead of pushing the tier 4s or putting back, they just want to farm kills in the well. And they will do that. This tier 3 taking pretty heavy pressure. They do have a glyph available. They're just scraping up the rest of the team. And there it is. GG, well played from Mad. A good game, but Na'Vi, as you mentioned, just overtake him. I would not want to go toe-to-toe in terms of farming an aesthetic game against a Havost Luna with an early Midas. I mean, he's too fat, man. He's just too big.
I wouldn't want to go toe-to-toe just passive farming against Havost unless my name was Burning.
Unless my...
Like, honestly, no, Havost just finds farm on the map. Like, when I was trying vaguely to play semi-serious, I watched Havost's replays because he finds farm that nobody else does. Yeah. It's ridiculous to me how many last hits he always comes out with, even when he's behind. Yeah. He's a very, very impressive guy.
He certainly is, and that was another long game. So our next match is probably going to start pretty quickly here, guys. The day of no delays. We're actually pretty much on schedule here at 10 CET, 10 p.m. CET, I should say, so that's 22. Oh, God, I've lost track already. So a good one in the bag. And now I just combined bag and bank. I'm all over. Gonna see Na'Vi again, though. It will be Na'Vi versus Power Rangers coming up next, and then our last match will be Sigma versus Virtus Pro. So 2 more coming up for you guys. I am Zyori. With me is Hippie. Thank you for joining us here on Beyond the Summit for your Starladder Season 8 coverage. It will resume after this short break.